One of the biggest lies writers believe is that they're afraid of criticism. You're not. You're afraid of something much older than criticism. You're afraid of rejection. Those sound like the same thing, but they aren't. Criticism says your work has problems. That's fixable. Rejection whispers something much darker. Maybe you're the problem. And that's why one indifferent comment from a family member can hurt more than 100 kind emails from strangers. It's why some writers check Amazon reviews every morning, like they're checking for a medical diagnosis. It's why intelligent people spend thousands of dollars chasing fake awards, meaningless bestseller badges, and promotional schemes that promise recognition but never respect. None of that is really about marketing. It's about approval. And unless you understand why your brain keeps chasing it, you'll never write with complete freedom. Because the greatest obstacle to becoming a writer isn't criticism. It's not reviews. It's becoming emotionally dependent upon applause. Here's how to escape. Welcome, I'm D.L. Hughes from VelocityWriting.com. If you're serious about writing stronger stories, please join our growing community here where we explore the myths that spoil great writing, not just the techniques. Now, every writer eventually asks the same heartbreaking question. Why doesn't my own family support my writing? Lots of people ask that question. You finish a novel. Your friends promise they'll read it, but months pass, nothing. A sibling says, it's nice. A spouse changes the subject when you mention your book. Meanwhile, complete strangers halfway across the world become devoted readers. How does that make any sense? It's mystifying, isn't it? You expected the people closest to you to validate the part of yourself that you value most. When they don't, your brain doesn't simply register disappointment. It interprets danger. You know, human beings evolved inside tribes. Approval once meant survival. Rejection could mean death. Your nervous system hasn't updated the software from those early days. It still treats social indifference like physical risk. And that's why silence hurts so much more than criticism. At least criticism admits you exist. Silence feels like erasure. But here's the question almost no writer wants to ask. If approval feels like survival, who are you actually writing for? Well, the obvious answer is simple. Ignore what people think. Well, of course, that's terrible advice. You can't simply stop caring. Writers are observers. Sensitivity is, it's part of our job. But all writers need to understand we now live in an approval economy. You see it in Amazon reviews, but it really leaps out on Facebook writing groups. For example, I try to offer help for writers there sometimes, and once offered sound financial advice for someone who wanted to use Amazon ads. Immediately, a woman who claimed she had sold $1 jillion in ebooks called me a liar. Well, a short, pointless flame war ensued. It became clear she was a toxic person, so I let her have the last word. Why? Well, I could see she came across as being of dubious emotional stability, and a rude comment didn't matter. In the approval economy, most social media comments like hers, or even book reviews, simply don't matter. Most reflect the values of the person or their desire to inflate their own ego, and they are of absolutely no use to you as a writer. Amazon reviews are the perfect example. Two readers finish exactly the same novel. One calls it profound. Another calls it boring. One reader hates first-person narration. Another refuses to read anything else. Someone complains there wasn't enough dialogue. Another complains there was way too much. You begin to realize something extraordinary. Many reviews are reviewer biographies disguised as criticism. They're revealing the mental state of the reviewer far more than they're revealing the merits of your book. Psychologists call this projection. People constantly interpret the world through their own expectations, experiences, disappointments, political and social views, personalities, fears, and their own preferences. Your novel simply becomes the screen they're projecting into. Here's a key idea. It's not about you or your book. One harsh review suddenly becomes objective reality. Don't allow that. It isn't reality. Now, if multiple reviews repeat the same thing, take a look at the issue. It may help you improve your writing. But most often, the reviewer is one person's encounter with your work, and they are carrying an invisible suitcase filled with their own life, their own perceptions. And by the way, the approval economy is a big reason why writers are targets for scams. Become an award-winning author, guaranteed bestseller. Readers will finally respect you. Many writers aren't buying exposure. They're buying permission to believe they're real writers. But think about this. If someone else has to certify your identity, who actually owns it? Here's the strange paradox in all this. The writers you admire most eventually disappointed almost everyone. Dickens had critics who thought he was sentimental. Jane Austen was dismissed as trivial. Herman Melville died believing Moby Dick had failed. Emily Dickinson published almost nothing during her lifetime. Even artist Vincent van Gogh sold almost no paintings during his lifetime. Different kinds of art, same psychological battle. History rarely rewards the people who seek approval. It rewards the people who survive its absence. And that idea should turn your writing world upside down, because courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is developing a relationship with rejection that does not define your identity. Imagine two writers. The first one finishes a chapter and immediately wonders, will people like this? The second finishes the same chapter and asks, did I tell the truth as honestly as I could? Those two questions create entirely different careers. One places emotional authority outside yourself. The other keeps it where it belongs. Ironically, readers often trust writers who are not desperately trying to be approved. Authenticity brings a strange confidence. You can feel it. The deeper your need for approval becomes, the safer your writing becomes, and the less memorable it becomes. Eventually, you discover something liberating. Readers don't owe you admiration. Friends don't owe you enthusiasm. Family doesn't owe you understanding. Reviews don't define quality. Awards don't define importance. Your responsibility is astonishingly small. Ernest Hemingway nailed it when he said, all you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know. And then allow other people to have their own opinions. Sometimes they'll have 3 different opinions before lunch. That's not failure. That's evidence your work entered another human mind. And every mind is like entering a different country. The moment you stop writing to earn approval, something remarkable happens. You finally begin writing something worth approving. This week, before you ask whether readers will love your next chapter, ask one different question. What truth am I avoiding because I'm afraid someone won't like it? Write that page. Don't edit it to make it safer. Don't soften it to protect yourself. Write it honestly. Have a great writing day.